And so I thought it over. That's Nehemiah chapter 5, verse 7. Hey, it's Pastor Fabian. We have been talking about decision making and the stages that lead to good choices and right decisions. We talked about the definition stage in early weeks, where we talked about defining the problem and the circumstance and how we got there, and defining the guardrails, the protocols, where we decide what are the things that are necessary for this to be a good decision. What are the things I can't live without if this is going to be a good decision? What are the things I won't live without, the non-negotiables, for this decision to be made? And if the choice and the option doesn't fit between these parameters, that's why I keep doing this, between these parameters, then it's a non-option. That's the definition stage. Then we talked about the information gathering stage, to gather the information that will help inform a good decision. Last few times we've been talking about the testing stage, where we take our final conclusions and we submit it to the eyes and the ears and the heart and the counsel of trusted advisors who are able to evaluate our conclusions and challenge those conclusions, and then open our eyes to possibilities before they say to us, now you go back and decide. Decision making, multiple stages. I want to go into the fourth stage today. It's called introspection and reflection. Introspection, intro meaning inside, spect meaning to look. It's when we look inside. And if we're not going to do it ourselves, then we need somebody who's a trusted confidant who will help us to look inside ourselves to check our motives. Introspection is about motives. Reflection is about all the information. It's where we think through everything to make a final decision. We weigh, measure, and cut. We weigh and measure based on those parameters I was talking about. These are the things that are necessary. If it doesn't meet this, it's not a decision. These are the things we can't live without. If it doesn't meet these, it's not an option. These are the things we won't live without. If it doesn't meet this, it's not an option. Okay? Reflection looks at all of that and weighs and measures the option against these things and cuts off the excess, cuts off the nonsense. But introspection says, what motivates you? What's moving you to do this thing and not do this thing? To go this place but not go this place? To choose this person but not this person? This thing but not this thing? This person, this place, this thing. Why? What's motivating you? It goes beyond what you're saying with your lips, because we'll give all kinds of explanations of what's motivating us. And it says, forget what you're saying. I need to go past your mouth to see your heart. That's why Proverbs chapter 21, verse 2 says this: man's ways are right in his own eyes, but God looks at the heart. God weighs the motive. All of a man's ways, whatever direction he's going in, he believes that it's right. And in his own eyes, it is. But God says, I'm not interested in what you think and what you're saying. I'm looking right at your heart so I can weigh the motives. If you don't do it for yourself, God is doing it, but you need somebody to do it with you and for you if you're not willing to do it for yourself. Introspection. It's about you, not about the information, not about the facts, but looking inside to check the motives. Story today, Esther chapter 4, book of Esther. Remember that the young woman Esther, through a pageant, had been selected and elected to the position of Queen of Persia. And while there as Queen of Persia, news gets to her ears of an assassination and an annihilation plot for all of her people. Someone has decided that the Jews need to be genocidally wiped out, annihilated. News gets to her ear through her relative, a man by the name of Mordecai. I believe he was a cousin of hers, that had older cousin who had raised her up from a child because she had been orphaned by her father and mother. Mordecai had raised her up, actually sought to her, put her in position to become the queen by some choices and decisions that he had made. Her uncle is encouraging her to use her seat of power, her position of authority, to defend the people, to get relief for the people from this threatened annihilation. Esther has a decision to make. She begins to reflect, she begins to think. And she sends back to her cousin, call her cousin Mordecai, Uncle Mordecai, this response. Call him Uncle, he's older than her. It says, Uncle Mordecai, everybody in the kingdom knows that there is one edict, one determination that has been made for anybody who shows up before the king who's been uninvited, and that is death. King ain't called for me the last 30 days. I ain't going to see him because I ain't trying to die. Mordecai says, protocol, protocol, protocol. Since when, Esther, you been concerned about protocol? You forget I raised you? I know from a little girl, you ain't never been concerned about protocol. All of a sudden, you're concerned about protocol. This is not about protocols. You're concerned not about protocols, but about saving your own skin and your own neck. Introspection. She's just got checked. Someone is looking past what she's saying with her mouth and looking at what's down in the heart. There's some selfishness there. There's some self-preservation there. And I'm not going to blame her. Who wouldn't? Who wants to die? Not under those conditions. Having been checked. Message gets back from Mordecai back to Esther. This is what your uncle is saying. As a matter of fact, he sends a message and says, listen to me, Esther. If you don't do something, relief will come for the Jews from some other means. But as for you and your family will perish. You may as well perish trying to do something than perish having done nothing. Esther hears this and she goes back into reflection and she revises her decision. Only when her motives are checked. This is why it's so important. You have to check your motives because your motives may be driving you to choose wrongly, driving you to select and decide wrongly. And it's only when introspection comes in and you check the motives to see what's pure and what's really right. Man, remember, in a man's eyes, all of his ways are right. But God checks the motives. And sometimes we need somebody from the outside to help us, like Mordecai helping Esther to check hers before we realize whether or not our motives are really pure and right. If you're not going to do it for yourself, get somebody to help you to do it for you and do it with you. Somebody's got to do it. Introspection. It's a look on the inside to check what's moving you to decide. Next time, we're going to talk about reflection. We talked about it a moment ago. We're going to talk next time in more depth about it when we consider all of the information that we've gathered up to this point on our way to a healthy decision. Okay? Until next time, it's Pastor Fabian. Always good to be with you. Know the truth and keep living by faith. Peace. We're out of here.
Truth is a ministry of Powerhouse International Church. For more information, visit us on our website at powerhouse1.org.